The calm before the storm in the Manchester dressing room. The defending league champions are right back in the title race after a big midweek win over Sheffield. London are on the road for most of the remaining games. They lost top spot after slipping up in Cardiff on Thursday. The Knights can't afford any more mistakes. It's another key game in a quest to unlock the Super League title. Manchester haven't lost at home in over 600 minutes of hockey. Their only slip-up came in overtime against the London Knights, who haven't lost a league game against the Storm this season. Well, just when you think one of the teams is going to pull away from the lead pack, think again. London, Bracknell, and Sheffield have all had a chance to pull away, but they haven't been able to. This is a true race to the wire. On Saturday, you can see the teams were in action. Bracknell beat Ayr 5-4. London got the win in Newcastle 4-3. And Sheffield won their first game at home in 4 attempts with a 7-2 victory over Cardiff. Manchester had the night off. And on Sunday, all the contenders will be in action. Their highlights of the games coming up later in the program. So no change in the league table then. Bracknell in the top spot only by 1 point. And a critical game in hand over London. Sheffield will be relying on other teams to slip up. They only have 3 more games to play, and it's Manchester who could just find themselves as the upsetters. They've got 6 games remaining. It really is going to be down to the wire, and it's a true race. Manchester and London have a huge game on their hands. Well, Gary, I mean, it is down to the wire. No one, with the league is so tight. I mean, we knew it was going to be, and we also knew there wasn't going to be a winner this early on.
No, definitely. I think when you look at the league or the teams this season, it was a very balanced competition. And, I mean, anybody can beat anybody on any given night. But the 4 that have sort of emerged from that pack, London, Manchester, Sheffield, and Bracknell, I mean, they are quality teams, and they deserve to be where they are at the moment.
Okay, now this is reliving the Benson and Hedges Cup final with these 2 teams. And then we were saying the contrast of styles. London are intimidating, aren't they?
Well, there's no doubt about it. Everybody knows that's the way they play. Every team knows that's the way they play. They're going to come out, they're going to hit you, and they're going to hit you hard. Yeah. And, you know, every time you touch that puck, you got to be looking for it because it's going to come. And but the teams have got to counter that. They've got to go out there, and especially tonight with Manchester, they've got to go out. They can't be intimidated. They've got to just stick to their game plan. They got to try to let London draw penalties, and then Manchester capitalize on it. I think that's one way that the Storm could beat London Knights.
Okay, there's going to be no bets on who's going to be out there hitting for the London Knights primarily, and that's going to be Andy Beazle.
Well, I tell you, what can you say about this guy? He's just new to the country, and he's just set this league alight. You know, he's only 5'10", and he weighs 12 stone. And I mean, for a little guy, he hits, and he hits hard. And he hits to hurt, there's no doubt about it. But his hitting has made this London Knight team regenerate again. They've come back out, they've worked hard, and he sparked them. He sparked them, especially in our last game with Sheffield. He was the turning point in that game, and, you know, he's not going to back down from anybody, and he definitely won't do that tonight.
He's not, you know, one of the most skilled hockey players out there. He's not going to, you know, create that way, but he creates by all of his hitting and room. But do you do anything against him? Do you key against him? Do you pay any particular attention to him?
No, I think at the end of the day, you know, you don't. I mean, you can't. I mean, he's not, although he's a physical player, he's not a natural goal scorer as such, so he's not going to go out there and chalk up a lot of numbers on the boards, but he will get you and will hit you, but there's not really much you can do other than hit him back. Okay,
now trying to single out one guy with the Manchester Storm is pretty hard because their goal-scoring performances have been quite spread out. Yeah. But I know that you like this guy in particular, Mike Harding.
Yeah, well, we've gone for contrast in sizes. I mean, Beazle at 5'10", Harding's now standing at 6'4", 200 pounds. He's a big guy, and, you know, he has a lot of skill. He's a great skater. He's got good hands, good shot. and you know, he can play a physical game. But you know, that's the key thing, and that's why I think Mike Harding's made an impression up here in Manchester, because of his all-round ability to play the game. As you can see here, he can also throw them.
And we know if this guy is on form on any night, he can win games by himself single-handedly.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I think he showed that against Sheffield the other night. You know, he got 2 crucial goals, which ultimately gave them the win. And you know, you definitely want that in a player. And obviously, Mike Harding stood up and took the test.
Okay, well, obviously, Manchester's going to be relying on him to try and recapture their league title, but there has been some games with the top 3 clubs for sure that they have blown away. And here you can have a look at them on February 12th. Bracknell with a 4-0 lead over Newcastle, and all of a sudden that's the biggest comeback in league history, that one. And then and they blew it 6-4. And then on Saturday, February the 12th, London and Sheffield. That was our main game a week ago, and Sheffield 4-1 up, and then London came back to win that one. And London on the reciprocal on Thursday, February the 17th, against the Cardiff Devils. You can see what happened here. London cruised to a 4-goal lead in the first period, and it looked like Captain Rob Kenny had sealed the win with a hat-trick early on in the second to make it 5-zip. But the Devils started the big climb. They hit back with 3 goals to get right back in it. And Coach Chris McSorley had to pull Robbins and let Cavlin in. 2 more goals for Cardiff to tie the game. And what is McSorley left with? Swaps goalies again. The game winner came late in the second from Vezio Sacratini. Cardiff stood toe-to-toe with London. Hurley went with Niker. And Nicky Chin did not back down from Sean Wansbrough. Well, Cardiff obviously doing the job against London, and you can see now these 2 teams, if they want to win the league title, they got to pull out all the stops, don't they, Gary?
Well, definitely. I mean, they haven't been consistent in the last couple games that they've played. They've got off to a good start and got up in a lead, or they haven't got off to a good start and they've had to crawl their way back. And you know, you can't have that, especially coming down the wire now. You've got to be playing a 60-minute game, and you've got to play a hard 60-minute game. You can't give anybody a chance to get a sniff, because if you do, they'll jump back into the game.
Okay, thanks a lot, Gary. It's almost time for the first period, but before we get to it, we can go ringside with Kevin McCoskey.
Well, Nick, no new injury problems for either side going into this huge game. London still minus Mark Hussey and Paul Rushforth. Frank Pietrangelo still out for the Manchester Storm. A look at the squads then, starting with Manchester. Mark Bernard will start in goal with teenager Chris Main in as backup. Jeff Tomlinson at number 14 is Storm's main playmaker, 28 assists already this season. And number 51, Jeff Jablonski, is the team's top goal scorer and always a big threat. For London, it's Trevor Robbins starting in goal. Number 14, Jeff Hode, is in dazzling scoring form, 8 goals in his last 4 games. And John Bice, wearing 11, likes these matches. He's scored the winner in the previous 2 games between these sides. That's how they line up then. We're ready for the first period here, so it's back to Gary Steffen and Nick Rothwell.
Trevor Robbins getting the shout between the pipes for the London Knights. He wants to stamp his foot and show the league he can win games. He's got a 3.14 goals against average so far. Either side of him, Scrimmett and Murray, and up front, Hode in between Wetzel and new boy Bezo. Let's keep an eye on him. He's a cracker. Manchester's Mark Bernard has stepped up to the line to be counted. He's had a great season, posing at 2.92 so far. Scott and Robinson, his D guys, and Johnson in between Harding and Alyard. Referee Simon Kirkham, he's got the whip for this one, and he's pulling the guys in for the first period face-off. The Manchester Storm have had a great record here at the Storm Shelter. 5 home wins in their last 5 games. The London Knights have got a great record on the road, and folks, it's all coming down to the wire. And this won't be a game, Gary, it'll probably be a war.
Well, I think it's going to be a little bit more physical out there. Both teams have got to take 2 points out of this game.
Kirk Kleinendorf, as calm as usual before this game. Says he's not going to worry about London's intimidating factor. They've had to face it a lot. They haven't beat them, though. They're beating them yet, except for that big game in Sheffield. in December when they won the Benson Hedges Cup, the first and only trophy to be awarded so far. Chris McSorley having some problems in his lineup lately with Hussey out of it tonight. But most guys are full of strength, and Gary, this guy is just as animated as ever.
Oh, he is, Nick. We've got a penalty on this call as well. I think Andy Bezo is going to be going here for sitting 2 minutes. Not too sure what the penalty is called at the moment, but we'll find out very shortly.
Maybe Simon Kirkham's just putting that one in the bank and getting a call early on.
Yeah, I mean, he could be trying to get control.
So the Manchester Storm, all of a sudden we're a little bit puzzled by what's been going on, and it's the Storm who are on the power play against London. London haven't had the best penalty killing so far in the season. Manchester been right up there leading the league in the power play performances.
That's what Manchester has to do, Nick. They have to capitalize on London's early penalties and try to get a lead here.
Duffy, and he shoots right into the glove of Robbins for his nice save on the first shot of the game for him.
Oh, it's right up here. Look there. Duffy sees the net, takes an odd shot from the side, but Robbins grabs onto it.
It was a roughing call that was given to Andy Bezo behind the play. We didn't actually see it, but Simon Kirkham obviously cracking the whip as we said he was gonna.
Well, I think he's got to get an early handle on this game, and this play's going. He's got to do that, or it'll get out of control.
Set up low. Now back up high to the point. Shot comes in. Deflection. Rebound. Off the post or a stick. Unbelievable. And that comes across. It gets picked off in the middle. Wetzel, he winds up. Gets blocked, and another shot comes raining in. Andy Bezo back out on the ice. Big hit.
Sit down.
Bezo making his mark on the game. It's already gone off. Only 2.5 minutes into the game. Got off for a roughing call. Now he's back out on the ice, and he picks up the puck. Whistle on the play, but the crowd was so loud he couldn't hear it. Andy Bezo throwing 3 big heavy hits.
I'll tell you what. Well, watch it here. I mean, this guy takes no prisoners whatsoever, and he just lines them up, you know, comes in, full pelt, and he wants to hurt. There's no doubt about it. He wants to hurt. But he is just a firecracker of a player out there.
Referee Simon Kirkham putting the laws down with Bezo. And some of the concerns over Bezo and what the ref's been told to watch out for is the fact that he's got to stop moving his feet before he hits the player. Obviously, that's a charging call.
That's it, yeah. And also to keep his stick and his elbows down when he's hitting. He does go in a little bit high.
Tell that's at the Al, the Sheffield Steelers took that elbow. Got a whistle on play, offside call. Almost 3 minutes to go. We've seen a flurry of action. Hard to get a grasp of the ball in the top of the year.
Well, I think this game will open up a bit soon. I mean, they're just feeling themselves out. They're trying to take their man. They're just working each other at this stage, and they'll start to capitalize eventually.
Gary, one of the things that criticisms have been coming from the London Knights. They've had this lead that the other night in Cardiff when they were criticized for not playing the full 60, and Chris McSorley has said, that is a thing. If we can play full 60 minutes, no one will touch it.
Well, that's it. I mean, their game that they lost in Cardiff was just one of those ones. He said they lost momentum, and once you start losing momentum, it happens. And he said, it was a one-off game. He said, I didn't get too upset about it afterward. We just talked about it, and we'll just put it right.
London's Rick Rabat having to tussle off the play. We should have a buo meter here at the MBN Arena every time that guy touches the puck. Both teams working hard on the near wall. Kelly Askew taking the feet away from Weiss there in the center.
And Nykar's going to go 2 minutes for cross-checking.
And referee Simon Kirkham again penalizing the London Knights. And a misconduct call, you can see. He taps to him. Simon Kirkham not going to let anyone get away with anything on the ice out there.
No, I think captains and assistants are the only ones that can talk to the referees, and they can only talk to them in a respectable way. And obviously, something's been said. Kirkham's taking offense to it, and he's going to sit him down for it.
Nick Sorley, he's actually come off of the bench there, and he's leaning over the... He's trying to get Simon Kirkham to come over and say, explain this. Chris McSorley, not a happy man. Got to watch the blood pressure. He's pretty heated over there, and he's actually trying to get as close to Kirkham as he can. Simon Kirkham not listening to him. Chris McSorley has to turn his back. He's going to have to send out a letter out there to have a word.
Well, somebody's going to have to put a man in the box, too, to serve the other 2 minutes. There were 2 plus 10 come up on the board, and they've only got the 1 man in there. So now here comes their other player.
So again, the Manchester Storm on the power play. League leaders in that category, you can see 22.8%. And Gary, really the Manchester Storm, it's no surprise that a team that moves the puck so well with so much finesse are not up there, or are up there on the power play.
Well, they are, because they move the puck so well. They're a good skating team. They've got great control, and they know how to work a power play. And obviously, that's why where they are. But like I say, here London's got to do another job. They got to go back out. They got to defend. They got to shut Manchester down and don't give them any opportunities.
And the dump in there. Puck comes off of someone's arm in the London bench. Bounces back into play. Chris McSorley again. Hot under the collar.
Still calling for Kirkham to come over. Wants to talk with him.
Coach Kleinendorf will just let that happen all night because it'll take a lot of the attention away to Chris McSorley having to direct his players into a more positive way. So he'll keep that all night.
No, it's always easy. If the other team or the other coach is getting all riled up, you just have to keep control and stay poised.
Trevor Robbins couldn't stop that one. A big hit by the Knights. London keeping Manchester out. Now Manchester through the neutral zone. Harding dumps it in. Keep it going. He winds up, takes a deflection. Doesn't find its way, goes into the corner. Johnson up to Scott, he gets it across to the far side. That shot goes high. Johnson picks it up to Scott. Scott winds up, he shoots. Robin makes the save. Off the toe, I believe. Again, working it down low. We got another penalty on the play to the London Knights. Harding gets it in, deflected. And it just goes as annoyingly wide there. And that one comes in again. Johnston keeping possession for Manchester. Up to the point. Blair Scott, he shoots. He scored! Blair Scott from the high spot on the power play makes it 1-0 to the Manchester Storm.
Well, they had a couple of great opportunities early on in this power play, but it's a Blair shot Scott that got beaten Robbins. And all it does, it was all controlled by London, or Manchester down low. They kept fighting for it. They kept a hold of it. London was already going to be called for a penalty on the call there. But the shot comes in. Blair Scott just beating Robbins low to the left-hand side. London London were going to have a penalty on that play there, and they were working it to try to get the puck to blow the whistle down, but they couldn't get a hold of it. Manchester did a great job controlling that puck.
Burke wheeling up dangerously in front of his own net. Chris McSorley won't be happy about that one. And every coach just loses a few hairs when that happens.
It's always the worst one when you're skating out in front of your own goalie, because anything can happen. I mean, obviously Chris McSorley is probably just keeping his fingers crossed that Greg Burke wasn't going to lose control of it.
Scremin coming in from the point. He gets around behind the net to Andy Bizo. We got a penalty call on the play. This time it'll be against the Manchester Storm. And it's going to be a call against Jeff Tomlinson. The hooking goal.
Gives London now the opportunity to go on the power play and see if they can draw level here. And Tomlinson going to sit for 2 minutes. And we see what the London Knights can do now on their power play opportunity.
So the face-off will be in the Manchester zone to the left of Mark Bernard. Now that they have the 1-goal lead, they'll see if they can kill the penalty.
We're going with Brabant, Kenny, and Weiss out there with Scremin on the point and Neil Martin.
That one gets pulled back to the point. That shot comes in. Too much traffic. London on the power play there, you can see. Nowhere near the numbers that Chris McSorley would have wanted. Like, you're not getting at least 20%. You're not going to really contend for a championship. So it's quite amazing the hockey that they play when they're.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, special teams play such an important role in a hockey game. Your penalty killing or your power plays, and if you're not up there, you don't tend to be, you know, sort of leading the pack. But London are.
And again, you can hear the boos when Rick Brabant picks up the puck. Manchester clear their zone, and any danger goes down the ice for Trevor Robbins to set up. Over a minute to go. London can set it up again down low in Manchester zone. Picked through the neutral ice by Kenny. He gets away with it. 2-on-1. Oh. Again, Kenny, the pass couldn't find Rick Brabant that came in from Weiss. Kenny couldn't get the shot away. London's still looking for a high-quality shot. Deflection. Kenny can get the backhand on net. Murray backhands it down to Weiss. Back up to Murray on the point. Switches it high to Scremin. Feeds Brabant. Gets around to Weiss behind the net to set up. London moving it well, but just in the perimeters. And that puck gets lodged underneath Blair Scott. And a quick whistle on the play.
Weiss just sort of losing control of it and then just making a desperation pass out in front of the net where Blair Scott got in front of him. That's good penalty killing from the Manchester Storm.
There are the Storm, the defending league champions. Some people, including myself, counted them out until a month ago, and then a couple of big wins against their arch rivals, the Sheffield Steelers, particularly that 3-1 a few weeks ago. And London come away. Murray up on the near side, gets it into the middle. You gotta say, Jeff Hode with the puck. Feed that guy in the slot because he's got the Midas touch right now.
He certainly has that. He's been shooting, he's been scoring. His all-around game has been superb for the Knights, and I know Chris McSorley is very pleased with the way he's been playing.
Just goes to show you when the puck's bouncing your way, it bounces your way. Jeff Hode saying he hasn't done anything in particular the last handful of games that he hasn't been doing throughout the season. But I think he had about 4 goals previous 25, and all of a sudden 8 and 6, and lighten it up.
It's all about confidence. You build that confidence, you get a couple goals, you can think you can score any time you get it, and that's what's happening here.
Both teams back to full strength. Manchester pin it down low in London's zone. Lochkin up against the board for the Storm. Coach Kleinendorf happy with this new signing. Johnson, he's fit in really well.
Yeah, he's, you know, look at him. He's from Belarus, left winger. He's not a very big player. He's only about 5'8" height too, but he's got typical Russian player, great skating, got good hands, and got good vision on the ice.
So Johnston loses the draw. Trying to get Harding in front of the net. He could get the big reach on it. That one. Aaron pass. Manchester do clear their zone. London gain possession. Play looking a little bit sloppy right now from the Knights. Now Ash finds big Mike Ware, fires it strong side in for Bezo. Watch Bezo with the big hit against Miller. Again, high elbows and high gloves, like you said, that he likes to hit like that. Feet up front, takes a deflection, Robinson the save, rebound, he scores!
Well, that's a big boost for the Manchester Storm, getting a 2-goal lead on the London Knights.
Just as we were talking about, Lochkin goes in and hits the twine to make it 2-0.
It's a great play how they broke in past that. They catch London flat-footed. They had a desperation, and they'll just get a puck out in front, little deflection off, comes back up off Robbins there, and he's right on the doorstep to top it upstairs.
Well, Murray and Ware both had an opportunity to get a hold of Lochkin, but neither one did, and you let that loose guy in the slot, you get punished. Rob Kenny had a hat trick against Cardiff. It was to no avail on Thursday. Now pass up to Brabant. Rick Brabant. He's in. He shoots. He scores. And that'll rack the pool meter up for him here in this building.
Well, it's definitely...
The Manchester Storm gets the London Knights back in it.
I don't think they were booing. They just went stunned silence on that one. But that's a nice play. Look at that. Kenny, great play, breaking out of his own zone, finds the line, threads a pass right to Brabant, who beats the two defensemen and just goes his backhand, lifts it up high over Bernard. What a beautiful goal.
So the London Knights looking for an answer. Rick Brabant provides it with the helper coming from Kenny. And Chris McSorley saying momentum's so important, and obviously any goal is going to help, but having Rick Brabant score it is
it'll give you that extra lift.
Sweet.
Absolutely, especially in the Manchester building as well. But you know, I think London's just got to chip away. They don't have to be too flash too fast. They don't really have to go out there and bang and bump and grind all the time tonight. They just have to play a little bit more solid defensively, because they're going to be tired. They've had such a long road trip. They've just got to find their form and just get back into this game.
Johnson keeps the bouncing puck in the zone. Johnson lets the shot go, takes a deflection, goes into the corner, and out of play.
Now Manchester again coming back on the attack. See here, we got an injury there. That's lost it. You see here, Harding goes in right there and gets the stick up high on the London player. But no call on the play.
Sammy Bertha collected an injury on that play. Looks like he's having problems with one of his legs. Doesn't hurt if you blow it flat here. Askew throwing his weight around for a little man. We got a penalty call on the play. Kelly Askew is going to be taking an interference call against Wansborough.
Askew getting in front of Wansborough, pulling him down. No puck around anywheres. But it gives London to pull one back and tie this game up. Kelly Askew here, you'll see just on the bottom of the screen right there. Askew and London player just mixing it up. Askew pulls him down. Kirkham's right there and sees it and gives him a 2.
So the London Knights on the power play. Twice. Down low. Scott manages to clear, and here we're going to have an opportunity for the Storm. Livingston shoots right into the glove of Robbins. He's letting it. He was going to let it play to Screven, but Manchester coming in, forcing him to hold on to the puck.
London losing control, not keeping the control of the puck down in Manchester zone. A bad pass come out, which gave Livingston the opportunity to get a shot on net.
So Trevor Robbins from Brandon, Manitoba. Probably hasn't been playing the form that we're used to seeing Trevor play in, that's for sure. Nottingham Panthers for the last few years has lit up the league in goaltending averages and percentages.
I think it's like anything, you know, the quality of hockey improves. You know, it doesn't matter if you're the best goaltender 2 years ago. If the hockey quality improves, and you know you're going to get better shooters, better scorers, and you might not seem that the goalie's doing the job that he should be. But you know, he's still a solid goalkeeper, and he's been playing well. I think Chris McSorley, when you look at some of the games that have been going where they've been swapping Cavalin and Robbins about, as he said, it's not because the goalie's playing bad. It's to try to sort of mentally pick the team up and work for one of the goalies.
Yeah. Wansborough across the Hode, up to Murray. London running out of time. Murray lets that one go, but it goes wide. Another shot comes in. Jablonski, he winds up and shoots low. Robbins, no problem with that one. Gets the rebound at Martin. Down to Murray. London without Mark Hussey and also Rushforth, but both guys skated in warm-up, so look good for the London Knights when they get both guys in the lineup.
Well, I mean, they're 2 key players that are missing from that lineup, and I think, you know, it's like anything. You don't want to push them back too soon into it so the injury goes again, but playoffs are the important thing, and you really want to have a healthy lineup going into that.
Chris McSorley and the boys have settled down. See, he's got a winning record, and that's all you need right now. Hope that he keeps the wins going. Manchester fired in. Allard and Johnson down low. Harding helping out. Manchester may be guilty of having a few too many guys low. Yeah, we can head down ringside with Kevin McCoskey, who's got some news for us. Kevin.
Yes, Nick, injury problems for the Manchester Storm. Kevin Hoffman suffered a problem early in the game. It seems to be a back problem. He's since then retreated to the dressing room area on 2 occasions for discussions with the Manchester physio, Julia Trevor, and he just, at the last line change there, went out onto the ice for a quick skate around to test it out, but he's back off on the bench again. He doesn't look comfortable. It doesn't look good for him in terms of this game.
Well, thanks a lot, Kevin. We're at the point of the season when injuries are going to be vital. Miller, he shoots. Jablonski couldn't get the deflection. And Kenny now out there with Bison Brabant. Brabant forechecking. Kenny comes up to try and help. Manchester wheel away with it. Miller into the slot on the backhand. Couldn't find any partner out there. One-timer. That's missed by Livingston. Crubstrid again down behind the net. Screven hits Brabant. He just deflects it out of the zone. Manchester regroup and dump back in. Both teams getting a change. Fresh blood out there. Claudio Screven. Up to Ware. Ware has Bulchi. Robbins off the boards, holds on for the, and being a little bit dangerous with the puck there. Cross the line, but the whistle is gone.
lucky there, that's for sure. But Manchester having again a little bit better of that shift, working it out, keeping it in down the London zone, and London get a bit running there. But at the moment, Manchester's just playing the simple things. They're just getting it to the target, trying to get a shot on net, trying to then push to the net and get a rebound. And you know, that's just simple, and that's smart hockey at the moment.
Well, Manchester with a 2-1 lead, and here comes London. His shot comes in. Goes for the short side. Bernard stood his ground. Wetzel again. He does a shot pass to Hode. Too hot for him. Out front again. Bernard down to close the door. Hode and Wetzel connecting for the Knights up front. Mark Bernard holding his ground. Under 3 minutes to play. Pass up to Hode through the middle. Gains the line. Drop pass. Wetzel shoots. He scores! You just see this line of Wetzel and Hode and Wansbrough skating around to get some good opportunities, and Garrett, just like that, it's a 2-2 game.
Well, they started to shoot more, Nick. They started to work the puck better. They started to get a couple more shots on net. That's just a lovely little drop to Wetzel there, and he just unleashes one and beats Bernard to the glove side. But it's better play, better work. You know, their vision looks a lot better out there. They felt a little bit more comfortable. They looked a little bit more comfortable that time. But Hode just dropping a nice little drop pass. Wansbrough breaking towards the net the way he should do to just get a rebound if it did come out. But fortunately for the Knights, it's in the back of the net, and we got a 2-2 game.
Well, Manchester up with a 2-0 lead and couldn't hold on to it. London right back in. It's tied at 2. Out front it. Bizzo scores! Unbelievable. Weak pass comes in from Bolshe. Bizzo managed to one-hand it over Bernard on the deflection, and it's 3-2, the London Knights lead.
Well, I think we maybe should apologize to Andy Bizzo for saying that he doesn't get a lot of points on the scoreboard, but that's a big goal for the London Knights there to give them the lead. And it all starts from Bolte. You'll see Bolte break towards the middle of the net, trying to take him on. Bizzo's trailing in right behind him. Goes to the net, both Manchester defensemen, nobody around him whatsoever, and Bizzo just one-handed up to the top and into the back of the net.
A 3-on-3, and Bolshe takes 2 to leave Andy Bizzo all alone.
Well, that was great work for Bolte just to hang on to it and stay with it. And, you know, Bizzo did his job, broke for the net. But again, defensive error for Manchester allowed him to go in on his own.
Well, Bizzo's made a mark and an impression in this country since getting here. Hasn't been through lighting the lamp, but he does it there to give the London Knights the lead. It's only his first goal since setting foot in the country.
Well, if you're going to get a goal, you might as well get one in this game, because this is a big game for him.
Well, they look at their guys as well to do it. Rapan got the Knights right back in it after falling 2-0 down. It's quieted the crowd here at the MEN Arena. We talk about leads and blowing them here, and really, Manchester again guilty of that 2-goal cushion.
Well, Manchester losing momentum, London gaining the momentum, and you can see how that changes so quickly. And, you know, the 2 goals just under a minute.
Manchester, Johnson. With Scott, clears it in. A minute to go in the first period. Harding working down low, losing his lid. Harding and Martin, they square up. Any of these guys out there can throw some bombs if they want to.
Well, we profiled Harding at the beginning of the show. We said he was a complete player. He could score, he could shoot, he could skate. You know, he's not afraid to throw him either. And he's a big guy. Look at that there. Martin, Harding fighting for it. Martin getting the shot in there. Harding still rifling him off. And then Martin gives him just that little extra shove.
Well, on that, we've actually got a penalty call as well. Ash taking a 2-minute minor for tripping off the play. in. Robbins steers it into the corner. Johnston working it with Harding, who goes up high. Harding and Johnston get tangled up, but Harding coming away with it. Again, that comes up to the far wall. Another crack out of it. Scremin clears the zone. Blair Scott. Manchester will try and get one last rush. Can they get the shot away? 5 seconds to go. The backhander comes in. Blair Scott winds up. And the final hooter on the call. And Coach Kleinendorf saw the Manchester Storm and his boys go up 2-0 out of the blocks on fire, but Chris McSorley and the Knights fought back to gain the momentum, and they actually lead now in the first at the end of the first period, 3-2. Join us after the break for the second period. Well, the Manchester Storm came out of the blocks the quickest. They hopped into a 2-0 lead, but then the London Knights gained it right back, and Andy Bizzo made it 3-2 after the first period. Well, one guy who started the ball rolling for the London Knights, Rick Brabant, is talking with Kevin McCoskey.
Rick, a big goal for you to tighten the gap early in the game. It must have been particularly sweet coming against your old club.
Yeah, it was nice. You know, we were a little bit on the ropes. They got 2 quick goals on us and a few power plays, and basically they were dictating the game. And the goal came at the right time, silenced the crowd, and I think it picked up our bench a little bit.
We can show you the goal here now, Rick, if you'd like to have a look at it and talk us through it. A nice pass to set it up for you.
Well, basically, I was just trying to time it so that when one of our forwards had the puck, I was able to hit a hole, and I hit the hole at the right time, and Rob Kinney gave me a perfect pass. And you know, it's one of those things, you go one-on-one, you like to score, and in this case, I got the goal.
You completely turned the period around before the buzzer. Comebacks don't seem to be a problem for you in the big games.
No, it's one of those things. We seem to fall asleep at times in games, and you know, if we can just correct that and come out strong, we could make life a little bit easier for ourselves.
Well, he's one of the most influential players in the league, and he started the comeback for the London Knights. There you can see the facts after 20. The only one that matters for the Knights, though, is the score. It's 3-2. The shots on goal going Manchester's way. London being penalized quite heavily, but there was no power play goals for either team in the first. And there you can see Andy Bizzo just about ready for the second period, and we're ready for the face-off. Well, Simon Kirkham didn't waste any time in the first period to stamp his authority. He called some penalties right quick, the first one of the game against Andy Bizzo. Since then, things have settled down, Gary, and we're right back at it.
Well, we got another 40 minutes left of hockey to play, and this game is nowhere near over yet. I think you'll see both teams now. I think Manchester's obviously got to pick it up, so you see them come out, should see them come out a bit harder now.
So don't forget, Manchester, their power play carries on. Into the second as Ash took that tripping call. We got another penalty call on the play against Manchester, this one. And Simon Kirkham signals it's going to be a tripping call against Big Mike Harding. So that'll cancel things out. We'll be even strength for 30 seconds, and then London will go on the power play.
Go 4-on-4 for about a minute and a half. You'll see right here John Bice just trying to take the blue line. Harding not, you know, difficult call to make, but he did get a stick out there, and he's obviously going to sit for 2 minutes for tripping. But
so 4-on-4 for 31 seconds, and that opens things up. And you like Manchester with their speed. They'd probably like to play the whole game 4-on-4.
Well, you can give Manchester the room, but obviously, I mean, you start looking at Wetzel, Wansborough, and guys like that out there for London. They can do the same job with good size ice.
Kelly Askew picked that one up on the blue line. And this one go to far side of Robbins, who got the pad down. Offside call. Still 10 seconds to go on Ash's penalty. So it'll be 4-on-4. Ash chomping at the bit, ready to get out of the penalty box. Always tough start the period in the box. He's 2-minute tripping penalty in the first period. It's carried over.
He should be fresh and raring to go.
Rumsmith pulling it back. And Scremin picks up the puck. For the Knights, Ash back out on the ice. London on the power play. And no one's been able to get their power play units going. Scremin can't get it down low. Scremin corrals it again over the red line. Strong dump. London overload the far side. Come away with the puck. Rick Verban gets it out front to Scremin. Scremin couldn't hold on to the pass. Had a lot of heat on it. Verban trying to find Kenny. Takes a deflection. Scremin goes far side to Weiss. The passes are just whipping themselves around. Nice connecting. Kenny gets it back to Scremin. He shoots. No one in front of the net. Bernard has no problems with that one. London moving the puck well, but not getting the shots away.
Claudio Scremin making a load of passes down low, trying to create a space down there, but nothing happening. Rob Kenny just dumps one back, and Scremin just floats one in. Nobody around Bernard whatsoever. He sees it all the way through and grabs onto it very easily. Takes the whistle.
Claudio Scremin doing the one skate shot. Third highest point scorer amongst defensemen in the Super League, and he's up there with some good company. Wansborough up to Martin. Wansborough tripped over the puck. Shot comes in, Robin. A problem there. There's only one thing worse tripping over, and that's the blue line when you're on a breakaway. I've done that a few times. And that'll be it. Harding back out on the ice, 5-on-5. First time this period. And he gets that pass and deflects it past Ash. Ryan Duffy comes out to help Harding. Manchester dump the puck in. Trevor Robbins sends it right back the same way. Kelly Askew dealing back. To Duffy. Duffy keeping out wide. Gets it to Campbell, who's pinched in from the point. Lochkin looking for some help. Goes right out front. Duffy couldn't get the handle on it. Goes up to the point. Lines up that. Puck goes off the glass behind the net. Manchester cycling it, but no one on the end of the puck. And Ash will just clear the zone. Now to go wide of the paint, so we'll have a touch-up on the play, and there'll be an icing call. Bradshaw comes in. Keiko on the point, doesn't find his mark. Keiko up the middle, nice pass to Allard. Allard getting checked by Bizzo. Volchi has the Jets on. Goes around behind the net. Had Nyker driving. Bizzo lays another hit. Nyker hacked by Bizzo. He gets the puck. Got a penalty call on the play. Slashing call by Andy Bizzo.
Bizzo going in. There's Miller who got the full force of that slash, trying to get the puck there. You'll see number 19 going back for it. Bizzo just hacks right down on it to try to get the puck. And Carson says, no, that's 2 minutes for slashing.
I'm sure he would have, except it was Kirkham.
Oh, sorry.
Important for any referee to make sure he gains control over the game right from the start.
Well, I don't think anybody could really argue that call. I mean, it was a slash, and he had no alternative but to call that.
Even though it was just lumber, it's lumber, the hat came from over the head, didn't it? Harding for the Storm, sets it up. And Manchester working in the perimeters, looking for the shot. It comes in, takes a deflection. Robbins makes the save. I don't think he knew it hit him, but it did. Down low to Harding. To Johnson. Harding now drives to the far side. Big reach on this guy. Up high to Harding. On his off wing. His pass gets intercepted by Hode. He sends Bice with a bad pass. Bice does get the shot away, and it just goes wide. Hode gets onto the rebound. London's penalty killing unit coming close to scoring a goal, but Duffy couldn't get a hold of that for Manchester. Rob Kenny working hard. Kenny said he had that hat trick the other day in Cardiff. Lochkin dumps it in behind the net. And he gets it across to Wetzel. Can't clear the zone. Manchester still on the power play. Screaming. Keeps Lochkin to the outside. Robbins no problem on the save. And Pizzo's back out on the ice. 5-on-5. Net's way off its moorings. No goal. Didn't see who took the net away, but Trevor Robbins just actually stepped right out of the paint.
Referees and linesmen not even noticing what was happening with the net, but it was well and truly off its moorings. You see here Manchester getting some shots in on top there, and you can see the net was already off before the puck had entered the net, and Mr. Robbins was just confirming the fact that it was off. I think you get a combination. I mean, look at his record here. He's played 48 games, won 27, and only lost 16 with a 5 draw. I mean, those are good numbers for your first year, and especially considering the year that London had last season in their first year.
Complete turnaround. And Rick Verban helped turn around this game. London Knights were eventually going to score, and the last guy Manchester wanted to do that would be Rick Verban because of the trade that happened with him and Duffy. Verban working hard. Try and clear his zone. Rob Kenny helps him. 3-on-3. Now a 3-on-4. Hode right into the middle. Pass not in a position for Verban to let a shot go, but he tries to feed Hode. He sends it right back to the far side with Verban to the near side. Chris Miller. He wheels with it. He winds up and shoots. No problem there. And a giveaway. Chris Miller carries on in. He's on the backhand, gets it out front. Shot bobbles up and goes over the goal. Giveaway there from the London Knights. Manchester kept possession in their zone, in London's zone. And that eventually clears. Robbins out, plays that one well. And that time he elects just to leave it for his defenseman. They could probably clear the zone a little bit easier with their sticks.
Well, after the mistake he just made, yeah, I think you'd leave it to your defense.
Manchester keeping possession. Harding goes for the drive. Robbins hops on the loose puck, and now we have a little bit of a come together there, but Tomlinson isn't the biggest guy around, and he probably wouldn't drop his gloves out there.
Murray for London going in there, taking offense to Tomlinson standing on the doorstep of Robbins. Pushes him out. Tomlinson reacts back. You see here, this is it now. Robbins is looking, he's trying to make a pass out, but obviously he's not strong enough to make that pass, and Harding comes in and intercepts. But nothing happens. And the get out of jail card was used.
And they had another chance just at that whistle there.
Big Mike Harding again around the net on Robbins. Tries to stuff it in, but couldn't get the handle on it.
Well, folks, you know, well, we'll keep that in. I'll go on that comment in a second. Bezo gets it out to Hode with a nice pass. Hode has Wetzel 2-on-2. Hode goes for the drive to split the D and does get the puck to Bernard, but gets dumped to the ice.
Well, that was a good move by Campbell, and Scott stood Hode straight up and didn't give him any room to break through that net, and that's what defensemen should do, especially on a 2-on-1 or 1-on-2. Right here, you'll see Hode try to gut through the middle there. But Campbell and Scott take him down.
Kelly Askew for the Manchester Storm. Feeds it up to Lochkin. Lochkin now has Duffy driving. Leaves it. The shot comes in. Robbins with the save. And the snapper holds on to it. Man, you actually see the goaltender's stick and his gloves. You can see that glove that's holding the stick. It's not designed, folks, for the goalie to be able to handle that and be able to make nice passes or shots, but these guys adapt to it, and you can see the way he handles it there.
Well, he actually closes the trapping part of the glove over the thick part of the shaft of the stick, as you'll see there, and use the blocker as the top hand. But they get some pretty hard shots away, these goalies, with that equipment they use. But you always, like I said before, you always worry when your players see your goalie coming to move the puck out. You know, just leave it. We'll get it.
Name the 3 goalies in the NHL to score goals. There you go. You can think about that one. Harding, he turns around. Scott Campbell, GB International. Harding now, he steps across the line, gets hit by Burke. Scremin has been so solid in the games that we've seen him throughout the whole season. Bezo with a big hit on Harding. Didn't even have the puck. And here's it comes the other way, big hit on Blair Scott. Bezo picks up the puck in an offside possession, and we can head down rinkside with Kevin McCoskey. Kevin,
must be frustrating at the moment not to be out there with your guys. What's the problem?
Yeah, very frustrating. Picked up a little bit of an injury, a little bit of a muscle pull on Friday against our game in Sheffield, and thought it was going to be all right. Skated this morning, and thought it might be all right, but it wasn't. So
it's a bit of a patience game at the moment for your guys. They are out shooting the visitors, but at the moment Robbins has got the measure of you.
Yeah, he's closed the door pretty good. But as long as we're getting our chances, I think as the game goes on, we'll just try to wear them down. I know they played last night. They're going to be tired in the 3rd period, and I think if we just keep getting our chances, it'll be all right.
Okay, thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot, Kevin and Kevin, on that one. Both teams getting hurt in the blue line position. That shot, again, taking a deflection. Manchester outnumbering London down low. You don't want to have that happen. Puck comes into the paint. No one can get a hold of it. And here we got a chance for Rob Kenny. Rob Kenny. Great work by Chris Miller. Gets back. Livingston with a shot. Band on it. And Scremin pumps it up to Bice, who just dumps it into the zone. Goes for a change. London getting some fresh blood out there. Chris Miller busting back to break that play up.
It was a great move by Miller to get back in time and take Kennedy out.
Huge burst of speed. So I ask you. Gets it out front. Riff! What a save!
Hey.
Trevor Robbins pulled it out of the air. Rob Manchester. Lightning glove.
If you're going to need big saves, this guy can do it for you. I mean, you'll see it right down here. London having problems keeping. Loshkin just throws it right out in front. And look at that. Just couldn't get it over Robbins. Dusty getting on the end of it right there, and just, oh, Robbins just pulls it down. Great save.
Shot comes in, the Blues puck in the paint. Lochkin couldn't get a hold of it. Manchester buzzing in London's zone. They've had possession down there for the majority of the period, but they haven't managed to get one on the board. Score remains 3-2. And I almost fall off my chair. Askew getting his lid whipped from his head. Wetzel has a hold of his stick. Manchester still whipping it up in London's zone. Martin takes Askew up on the boards. 2-on-2. Puck comes out. We got a penalty call on the play, folks.
Tom Ash gonna go. He's gonna get here. Cross-checking
call.
That means now London's got to go back on the defense again, try to kill this penalty off with 2:56 remaining in the second period.
Well, you can always gauge where most of the action has been in ice hockey. It's quite easy because of the snow in the end. All the snow is in London's zone, which Chris McSorley won't be happy about.
Well, I think at the end of the day, you know, they're doing their job. You'll see here, it's Ash going in right there, and bang, he gets it right on.
No problems with that call. That shot comes in. Robbins takes it off the shoulder, goes high off the glass, and Scremin backhands it into Manchester's bench, and that came out oh so close. Trevor Robbins taking it off the shoulder.
I was going to say about Chris McSorley about, you know, not being upset with the club. I think, you know, he'll be pleased with the way they're playing. I mean, okay, they're giving up shots, but they're not getting any quality shots on net. And, you know, when they have done, Robbins made a big save. But when you're on the road, when you've had this long road trip, you know, you just keep trying to encourage your guys and keep them high and keep them up.
There you can see Chris McSorley making the magic marker moves on the board, on the wall there. He's coach's pet, that, eh?
Comes in handy. Some of these players don't hear well, but they can see well. You got X's and O's.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
No, I'm not trying to say anything.
Boltsy driving. He goes inside, gets the shot away. Bernard, no problem. Well, has a little problem, then holds on. But Boltsy, again, a great burst of speed for London.
And Mark Boltsy getting in there and, you know, really turning it on just on a dime here. You'll see, look at that. He takes the puck out, takes it wide down the side, looks to try to cut around, has a little stop in the shot. Stop and shot, that's what they call that. And wasn't far off the target. See here, a little stutter in, and then on the same move, just let it go.
Krumschmidt. It's at the Tomlinson. Tomlinson. Been out there quite quiet so far in this game. Livingston on the far wall. Tomlinson gets it back into the corner. Tomlinson spins, looking for the big shot. Manchester on the power play. Tomlinson right out front, one-timer, goes off the side of the net. Jablonski to Livingston, up to the point. Nice work from Manchester. The shot comes in, rebound off the side of the net again, and again out front. And Robbins holds on, and both teams come face to face with each other. No one's backing down. As you said, rather than a game, this will end up being a war. These two teams fighting hard for the league title.
Well, it's good work by both teams here. I mean, Manchester on the offense and London on the defense. They just have it down, you know, and they're just creating space, but nothing happened. But London holding their ground and not giving them any opportunity.
Manchester on the power play. Get it up high. Moving the puck quick. Try and get the shot away. 3-2 down. Up to the slot. The quick shot comes in. And Captain Rob Kenny saying, I'll take that one. Trevor, you don't worry about it. There's another chance. Lochkin. Chris Miller pinches in. A minute to go in the second period. And Ash is back out on the ice. London back to full strength. 5-on-5. Shot comes in. Robbins with a save. Burke gets it out of the zone.
Good job by the London Knights killing that penalty off, and now really what they need to do is take a whistle and just regroup.
Poached into Harding, who deflects it into the zone. Robbins backhands it up to Brabant. Brabant. Wetzel on the near side. Can't hit Wansborough. Manchester again with the turnover. Get the shot away and deflects it, go high in the crowd. And that came into the crowd with a lot of speed. But they're looking for the puck. Souvenir.
Nice little memento to take home.
Well, shots on target so far. And look at that, 31-10. Out shooting them more than 3-1, and they're losing.
What do you say?
Well, I say Trevor Robbins been playing outstanding in London.
Manchester just have to be patient, though. They just have to keep chipping away and just keep shooting the puck, because eventually one of them is going to go in.
10 seconds to go. And Bizou sends it in. That'll be the last play of the second period. Chris McSorley, they're hanging on by the skin of their teeth. Kirk Kleinendorf and the Manchester Storm reining in the shots on Trevor Robbins, but to no avail. No score in the second period, and it's 3-2 after 2. Join us after the break for the third period. Well, after a 5-goal first period, we saw London lead 3-2. We went scoreless through the second. Trevor Robbins facing 18 shots by the Manchester Storm, and he kept it clean. After 2, it's 3-2. The London Knights lead the Manchester Storm, and Jeff Tomlinson, the captain of the Storm, is talking with Kevin.
Jeff, you had the bulk of the play in that period. Would you believe you're out shooting them 31-10 at the moment? You must feel you really deserve to be in a better position at this stage.
Yeah, I think you know, we've got the shots up that we needed. We're just you know, Robbins is keeping them in there, and if we can sustain that pressure in the third period, I think we're going to come out on top.
Everybody's been talking about the physical approach that London have adapted in recent games. Is that something that entered into the pre-game team talk?
Well, we're always aware of it. You know, it's no secret with London, but our guys are they're not the most physical team in the league, but we're prepared for it, and we'll give it back as much as they're giving it. And no, it was mentioned, but you know, you go out and play the game and hopefully take advantage of them on the power plays, which we haven't been doing tonight.
You pulled off a big result against Sheffield in midweek, but this one's probably even more vital. The next period that's coming up really is crucial to your club's season.
Yeah, it seems like every game now is more and more important. It's more important than the last. So tonight's game, we gave ourselves a chance. We're still in the hunt, and we got to get tonight. It's come down to that, and you know, it's just nice to be in the hunt at this point of the season.
Okay, thanks, Jeff.
All right, Kevin. Thanks.
Well, there are your facts after 40. London leading 3-2, but look at the shots on goal. Manchester with 31 to London's 10. They also have the edge on the power play advantages, but no power play goals from either side. And coach Kurt Kleinendorf must be wondering what he's got to do to try and get his team on the score sheet again. It's time for the third period. All right, referee Simon Kirkham dropping the puck. And a quick whistle. There you can see the crowd here at the MEN Arena. Just over 9,000, nearly 9,000 people. Almost cracked the 9K mark. You can see coming out in their floods to watch this game, this top of the table clash. And the winner of this is definitely got the hopes for the league title in their sights. for Burke. It goes up the same side that it came in on. And Johnson. This time doesn't get across. Ash palms it down, lets a shot go, goes high over Mark Bernard's head. Johnson up the middle. Livingston not getting on the end of it. Rob Kenny. It's taken against the wall. Trumpman. Both teams now, it looks scary, just going to bide their chances and really not make any mistakes.
Well, London aren't even sending one man in at the moment. They're sending 3 forwards just at the top of the circles, waiting for Manchester to come out. And they're just going to try to put in a sort of defensive block on them.
Brabant with a no-look pass to Bice up the middle. Bice tries to split the D, goes down. Referee Simon Kirkham nodding his head. No way. Nice pass to Jablonski. Again taken up by Claudio Scremin. Claudio Scremin probably one-on-one plays the body better than any defenseman in the league.
No, that's what he does. He just takes the man. He doesn't get flash with it. He just eyes the man up all the way down, watches the guy's mid-drift, and just takes him on.
Again, Manchester with possession deep in London's zone. But London just keeping them out to the perimeters. Now they work it in. Trevor Robbins save. Went up high, held on to it.
Trevor Robbins coming back into a form after a few up and down games he's had over the last couple months, and it's nice to see him get back in there being that solid goalie that he is. He's taking everything tonight, and he just gets the old glove up a bit high, but his reflex, just quick reflexes to pull that down.
You gotta say, keep it away from his glove.
See there, the big catching mitt goalies wear. A lot of padding, a lot of protection, but very flexible to be able to grab that puck.
Shot comes in. Great save. It took a deflection. Robbins down doing the splits. Bizzo taking Allard in the slot. Now I couldn't let the shot go. Harding, nice touch to take that pass. Gets it across to Collinson, who hits Allard. Tries to find Harding again on the return. Allard. Harding with a pass. Really, Scott doing a good job to keep that in the zone, but Bizzo gets it across. So Wetzler lets the shot away. London getting a change of personnel out there. Again, you even see on the 2-on-2, they're not going to drive real hard to the net so they don't get caught.
No, that's the other thing too. Yeah, they can't. I mean, they're just probably going to send the one man in hard when the puck is in there and driving, just so they don't get 2 or 3 guys caught out of position and Manchester breaks back. Ooh, great save.
Great save, Bernard. Both goaltenders playing hot. Kenny couldn't pull the trigger. Brabant. These guys are playing well. Manchester across the blue line. Shot goes wide. And Gary, you got to say, out of the 2 top gun lines with Brabant and Kenny out there, and the Tomlinson Harding line, that Brabant and Kenny line probably having the edge on it.
Well, yeah, definitely. I think they're having more possession in the other team's end zone, and that's very important. They're getting the chances. Not getting great chances on net, but they're still keeping control of the puck, and that's what they need to do, especially with 11 minutes left to go in the game. They don't need to be throwing things away. They need to just dominate and keep control of the puck as much as possible.
Manchester with a great chance. Trevor Robbins right down there. Again, he's the problem. And Manchester cannot solve him. Icing call there. Go all the way down. to London zone again. They'd rather have the face-off down there and just clear any problems. Trevor Robbins right back in it, isn't he?
Well, you see him. I mean, he stands up here, and you'll see it right there. Real quick reflex down. Get the leg down and get it out and deflect the puck into the corner.
Those are great saves. You can see, look at the shots that he's been facing, but those are great saves when the goalie's moving across and manages to get a pad out or a skate out the other way.
Well, it's just a quick reflective sort of save, and I mean that's what makes good goalies.
London holding on to it. Claudio Scremin again, not giving it up or giving it away anywhere. Gets it out of zone. We'll have a whistle down as that Blair Scott took that one high over his shoulders and then touched the puck. Face-off will be down low in Manchester's zone. You see Blair Scott. He's been solid out there, and he's also one of the guys that if you look, Garrett, maybe the losing Hurley, and if you're looking maybe guys to be tough, Blair Scott would be one, wouldn't he?
Well, he's physical. He gets stuck in, and that's you need guys like that in the back, especially. And when Hurley left, they lost a bit of the toughness there, but Blair Scott can fill that role too.
And he's got 7 goals to add to his name this season. Bolchi, see with that burst of speed earlier on. Probably 2 of the fastest players in the league, and Kelly Askew for the Manchester Storm and Bolchi for the London Knights. I'd like to have a race out there with those two.
They're pretty quick. And they're always skating at a very high speed.
Manchester with a breakout. Lochkin had a good game. Shot comes in. Blocker save. Rebound into the corner right where it should go. And Niker dumps Lochkin to the ice. There's 2-on-3. London. Martin not driving. Getting it down low to Wansborough. As Bice driving, Bice comes down low to help out. Chris McSorley yelling, don't get caught low. Pass out to Ash. He winds up way wide, or way short.
It's about hit for bag going behind the net.
Up again, up to Ash. He shoots. Just goes wide. London could probably get some of those on target.
It might help with their shots on target statistic.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say. Robinson. Gets it across the Burbank, finds Bice, has Kenny. Kenny eluding his mark, gets in, taken into the end wall. Nice work from Wetzel. Fakes the shot, then he lets it go. Bernard couldn't corral the rebound. Manchester on it right away. So is Andy Bezo. And Wetzel tries to find Bezo. Bezo drives to the net here. Chris Miller taking offense to that. He'll be right in there as well. Not afraid to throw him. But I'm afraid if I'm a Manchester supporter or player, you'd rather have him on the ice than off the ice. And a trade up with Bezo probably wouldn't suit the Storm.
No, not at the moment, no. They need all their firepower out there. They need everybody involved. 8:42 left. They don't. Time's running out. But it's that man, the little guy himself, Bezo, right around the net, jabbing in there, trying to get a rebound, trying to push the puck in the back of the net. Wetzel then comes in, protects his man.
And a bit earlier on, we're talking about this game being physical and London intimidating.
Yeah.
Niker goes for it against Lochkin.
Well, Niker was lucky right there not to get a penalty for hooking. I mean, that was pretty close. That maybe just confirms that Mr. Kirkham is going to put the whistle in the back of his pocket for a bit.
Guy's actually got no goals or assists yet. He's definitely making the mark on the penalty minutes. He's got 100 penalty minutes in 15 games for the Knights.
That's some big numbers.
That was you for preseason, wasn't it?
Well, maybe one.
Yeah, it wasn't. I forget you were dirty. Johansborough comes away with it. 3-on-2, but he just dumps it in for Niker to chase. Niker takes the boards, or the body into the boards. You could almost see the Manchester Storm. You can hear the footsteps.
Well, every time they're getting the puck, I mean, they are getting hit. London's finishing off their checks at the moment. And, you know, you do that over the course of the game, come down the wire, you start looking to where you're going to get hit again.
Oh, London go for it. Then the giveaway. Eliaski can get a handle on it. Just 7.5 minutes to go in the third period. And really, this has been the most steadiest in terms of momentum. It's quite equal period.
Before, I think you'd probably say that Manchester dominated the first two periods. Obviously, if you know, that reflected on the shots on target, but London is the team that made them count. But at this period now, they're both working hard. There's not a lot on either end. A lot of it's in the neutral zone.
Scott gets it out. Jablonski tipsy doodling it, loses it to Hode. But then they get it back. High off the glass. Hode bombs it down. Giveaway there to Jablonski. Jablonski can find comfort. Breaks his stick on the play. Goes back, gets a new one. Comes Livingston on his off wing. Tries to feed it in, a deflection off of Scremin. He almost put one on the board, but for the wrong team. And now Manchester pin London down, and then giveaway in the slot. Niker comes up with it. Again, a 2-on-2, and it's just a soft dump for Wansborough to chase. Mike Harding. Bobbles away from him, and Burke backhands it. Bernard forced to play it. And Kenny gets possession. Kenny now. Twice. These are for Rabat to Burke. Again, London just trying to keep possession and keep the puck away from the Storm. Kenny goes for a stuff, and Rabat couldn't get a hold of the loose puck. London caught low. Manchester come away with it, but again, that pass too far for him. But Harding negates the icing call.
Good work by the London Knights. You know, nothing pretty, nothing fancy, but they've just wasted a load of seconds on that clock, which is very vital for them.
5 minutes to go. They're up 3-2. Flurry of goals in the first period, and that's all that we've seen since then. And there's a drive to the net. Bezo taking Tomlinson to the top of the screen.
Well, that's it. I mean, Manchester are very unlucky tonight. There's no doubt about it. They've had a lot more opportunities to score on the London Knights, but just haven't been able to put it past Robin. And they're definitely wondering what they're supposed to do. Now look at this. You come off here, a little bit of rebound. The puck's bouncing, not bouncing right on your stick. But you see Scremin here just about puts one in the back himself. Just tries to intercept the pass, deflects it.
I think he made a save on that.
Deflects it. Well, just went deflected in the back of the net.
Closer than the first angle that we saw. That shot, again, not finding its way through. Manchester starting to buzz now. They're going to be looking for the equalizer hard in the last 5. Skate all out because you can rest on the next day. All these guys are going to try and give it their all. They're the defending league champs. And Chris McSorley in his first season and only London's second are contenders to try and take it away from the Storm. And Coach Kleinendorf keeping his mouth quiet. I mean, he's just observing and hoping.
Well, he'll be looking at the clock. He's going to now be thinking, right, it's 1 goal in it. We're going to have to pull our goalie. He'll be thinking, right, when should I pull him, you know. So he's just trying to regroup his thoughts at the moment.
Well, knowing in there you Hody give us a goal. I wonder if he will. Gary, with coaches Chris McSorley and Kurt Kleinendorf, two very contrasting styles and personalities. Shot comes in from the point. Goes wide, but good work by Blair Scott to keep it in, and then a heavy hit by Bezo. You got to think maybe is Bezo a good guy to have out there in the last few minutes if he's more concerned with taking the body or playing defensive?
Well, I don't think. I think if it's unless it's a real stupid penalty. I mean, I don't think Mr. Kirkland's going to call anything.
Okay, Mark Bernard is off. Mark Bernard is off the ice. Manchester have the extra attacker. It's 6 skaters against 5. 50 seconds to go. That puck just gets cleared out of the zone. We'll have a touch-up and an icing call.
Oh, wow. Man lost his footing down there and fell.
Blair Scott losing his footing there. But there's controversy at the other end of the ice as we were watching Blair Scott slip. You can see him losing his footing here.
Right there, it goes in, yeah. Skating back to get that puck because obviously he wants to get the whistle as quick as he can so it doesn't kill much more time. He will hit an edge or a rut or something and went down.
Well, there's Rick Brabant and the London Knights swarmed around Simon Kirkham there. Concerned that over a call it didn't happen. Referee Simon Kirkham has had a great game in this one. No one can complain about it. Coach Kleinendorf calling a timeout for the Storm. 46 seconds to go. They're looking for the equalizer. And what will he be saying now?
Well, what he's going to want to do is make sure that he's got guys in the right position around the face-off circle. They're probably going to want to get the shot back from the point, but they're going to obviously want to get the extra attackers in on top of the goalie and screen the shot or get in there for a rebound.
Trevor Robbins skating back into his net. During that timeout, he was actually on his knees, adjusting all of his equipment, making himself nice and comfortable for this last 46.4 seconds.
Right at the moment now, here you're going to see all white are going to take out the red
Back to the
sweaters.
point. Scott with a shot. Now, absolute unbelievable block by Rob Kenny. Folks, if London go on to win this game, you got to look at things like that. Captain Rob Kenny sacrificing everything, putting it all on the line.
Well, that's huge. That is definitely a big play by Rob Kennedy, and he's the guy that's going to definitely lead that team, and he's doing it tonight.
Shot comes in from low. Robbins closes the door once more with just over 20 seconds to go. And Steph, we're talking about that blocked shot.
Now they come in here. I mean, they're still putting pressure on. They've got spare men. I mean, obviously they got a man advantage out there against London, and they can create space, but just not creating it here. You'll see right off the draw, all the whites take a red sweater except for Kenny, who comes out and makes a huge diving block. Great play.
Well, from that angle, it actually looked like it got through and hit Robbins, but folks, that hit Kenny square on the legs. We've seen that as a captain and step up in the big games and lead by example, and he's doing it now. Bice can't get a handle on it. 5 seconds to go. Duffy winds up, he shoots. Blocker save. And that's it. The final hooter, and Chris McSorley, who saw his team go down 2-0 in the first period, mounted a comeback still in the first period to make it 3-2, and that's how it ends. The London players congratulating Trevor Robbins, who has played an absolute outstanding game after getting hit hard by 2. Got things together and stood on his head to deny the Manchester Storm. Well, as I said, there was 5 goals scored. They were all in the first period. And it started with Blair Scott with the blast from the high slot. Lochkin then made it 2-0 for the Manchester Storm. But then London started their comeback through Rick Brabant on the breakaway. Goes to the backhand and high. Then Todd Wetzel gained the equalizer with that blast to the glove side. And then Andy Bizou supplied the game-winning goal as he one-handed it over Bernard. And now we can head down to the head coaches. They're down with Kevin.
That's a huge one tonight.
Well, tonight was a huge contest, and now that the ISL is winding down to the very final stages here, it's so important that we make sure that we try to grab these wins. And Kirk Kleinhorst has got a great team, but somehow we just have their number.
We've seen it more than once recently, Chris. Your team never seems to be buried. Another big fight back.
It was a fight back, but I think us coaches, I think we could do deodorant endorsements the way this team keeps us sweating. But we've got a great team here, and there's no doubt that the ISL is very competitive, and a lot more competitive I thought it was going to be at this time of the season.
How significant was Trevor Robbins' performance tonight?
He was a franchise player tonight, and Trevor, I mean, we're going to win it. We need to have our goaltending be our best people, and tonight our goaltending stepped up and won us the game.
Another huge one coming up next weekend against Bracknell. Chris, is that a league decider?
Well, it just doesn't seem to end. Let's hope Sheffield can do us a job this weekend and knock Bracknell down a couple points.
Thanks, Chris. Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Kurt, disappointed, obviously. How did you feel about your team's performance, though, tonight?
Well, I don't think you can fault the effort, that's for sure. I mean, we came out and we worked very hard tonight, and you know, on most nights we would have got the win. We would have got the 2 points, but Trevor Robbins was exceptional, and there's no question he was the difference in this hockey game.
How much of a blow is this one to you? Would you say you're out of the race now?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'll have to see what else goes on tonight. Obviously, the situation in Sheffield with Bracknell is going to be a big night, but you know, this doesn't help our chances, that's for sure. But you know, it's just we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, we're going to need a lot of help no matter what now, because not only are we needing help with Bracknell, but now we need a lot of help with London too, and those are two great hockey clubs, and I don't know if they're both going to fall down going down the stretch, so it is going to be tough, but I don't think we'll concede it just yet.
You say you're looking to the results from other teams. If there's one consolation, there are a lot of shock results going around the league at the moment.
Well, there are, and you know, it happened to us again tonight. I mean, I wish that you know, you could get the guys to stop looking at the clock, because a lot of teams have given away big leads, and you know, tonight was no difference for us. I mean, we're up 2-0, playing very well, and we just made a couple mistakes, and that's the one thing about London. We knew that coming in. They don't come at you. They just wait for you to make mistakes, and they capitalize, and I think tonight was just a perfect example of that happening.
Kurt, thanks for speaking to us.
You're welcome.
So London win 3-2, 5-goal game, Gary, but did you expect, I mean, there was a scoreline you would have said would have been great after 6, but did you expect all the goals to happen in the first period?
Definitely not. I mean, you know, that scoreline right there, 5 goals in 1 period, then nothing in the next 2 is, you know, I mean, they had to buckle down, I guess, but yeah, it was a bit of a shock.
Yeah, well, it was an action-packed 60. We can have a look at the match facts from it. Again, London go on to win 3-2, but check out the shots on goal. It's unbelievable. 44 shots Manchester had to London's 18. London also quite heavily penalized. No surprises there, but Manchester not being able to capitalize on the power plays. Trevor Robbins, the player of the game, getting an award from Peter Woods, absolutely stood on his head after letting in 2 quick goals, which was a bit of a surprise, but I mean, that's something that, you know, you look at Trevor Robbins as a goaltender. He's a guy who really is very focused, probably more focused than anybody else, and to have those 2 goals go in would rattle him, but he gained his composure, and that's positive.
Yeah, I know. I think, you know, he's been a bit up and down over the last couple months, and I think you know, it was important that he had a big game, and he did have a big game tonight. And you know, a good goalie will always pick himself up and bounce back, and he did that tonight. And as Chris McSorley said, he won them the game basically.
That's right. I mean, Trevor Robbins, when he went to London, everyone said he is a goalie that can win games. He made some outstanding saves in this one. He didn't. You know, you look at great goals, but you have to gauge great saves.
Well, no, and I mean, this is the thing. I mean, goaltending is the biggest, you know, part of the game. If you got a good goaltender and he's keeping the puck out, I mean, you know, it's just you'll win games. And you know, look at the reflexes, and his reactions are so sharp. And that is the old Trevor Robbins. He had, you know, he was the man he was, you know, at the beginning of the season and last year with Nottingham.
Well, the man behind the mask is talking with Kevin McCoskey.
Trevor, congratulations, player of the game. How did you feel about your own performance tonight?
Well, I think the team battled around me tonight. We came out, you know, 3 games in 4 nights, and you could tell the first period we just needed to get our legs underneath us. And once we got the first period past us and weathered the storm, because you're coming into Manchester here, you know, they're a high-flying team, and if you can, you know, be even or down 1 after the first period, you know, you got a good chance of coming out of here with a win.
You were in and out of the game in midweek, Trevor. How important was it for your own confidence to play a good game tonight?
Oh, it's really important. You know, Mark Cavlin's been having a great year, so we've been battling back and forth to who's going to be playing. And, you know, me and Mark have a great relationship. We really don't, it doesn't bother us who's in the net. You know, as long as we win and win a championship this year, that's all it comes down to.
What's the mood like in the dressing room right now, Trevor? It must be an exciting place to be.
It's outstanding, you know, especially after the loss in Cardiff, which is really disappointing for us. And then to come back and win 2 games, it's huge for us, especially with the season winding down. Every game is so crucial with the league being so tight.
Trevor, thanks. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, he turned away 42 out of 44 shots, and when you look at his comments about Mark Cavlin as well, a goaltender who's playing very well, if these two guys are hot, you've got a tandem that could win them a playoff championship.
Well, I mean, like I said before, goaltending is such a strong position, and if you have good goaltending, especially, you know, as a number 2, I mean, they go 1 or 2. There are no set numbers for these guys, but it's very important that they have solid goaltending, and I think each of them push each other to play and bring their game up.
And their game, of course, really relies on being physical. And Andy Bizo was a guy who was in there right away with Chris McSorley's as a new signing, and he put his mark on this one.
Well, he made, again, more friends here tonight in Manchester, you know. But, you know, like I say, what can you say about it? I mean, like, the guy just does not stop. Most coaches they may have something where they call a hit counter, and they'll not count the number of hits in a game by an individual player. I mean, this gentleman is obviously up there in the, you know, high 20s, that's for sure, and that's a lot of hits.
Yeah, and he had the game-winning goal, and he's now talking with Kevin.
Andy, congratulations on the score sheet tonight. You must have been very happy with your own performance.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good team effort, so we're pretty happy with it.
The goal here proved to be the game winner, Andy. We can show you on monitor here. Talk us through it here.
Well, I just seen a guy going there, a centerman going to the net, and I just figured I'd trail in. And I haven't been scoring with 2 hands, so I figured I'd just jab at it with 1 and it went in. So.
Enjoying life since your move to the UK, Andy. You're hitting the headlines with your physical style of play.
Yeah, I'm having a good time so far. I mean, I got used to driving on the other side of the road and the plugs and stuff, so everything's going well now.
Nice position for yourself coming into a team that's really contending for the title.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here I add another piece to the team. You know, we're here to win a championship, so hopefully we do it.
Andy, thanks very much.
Oh, no problem. Thanks.
Thank you.
And Gary, you got to look if they get all their guys back in the lineup. That is one complete team that's going to really cause a lot of problems and perhaps go on and win the league.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you got Rushford still out. You know, and the way their team has gone and the way they build, they haven't really had a full-strength team all year long. And I mean, if they can get that right and ready for the playoffs, and obviously and they can pip the league title along the way, I mean, that's been a great year for them.
Really quickly, are Manchester out of the race now?
Well, I wouldn't say mathematically they're still with a shot, but you know, it's not over till the big lady sing.
You can say fat. Thanks a lot, Gary. Well, it was an action-packed main game here. London going on to win 3-2, but there's plenty of more action and news from around the league in Rink Roundup. Join us after the break.
Hi, my name's Kevin Reel. I play for the Bracknell Bees. Today we're just going to talk a little bit about shooting. Two important shots in the game of hockey are the slap shot and the wrist shot. The slap shot is just a follow through, a slapping, general slapping of the puck, something like this. Next shot is the wrist shot. It's more an extenuation of the pass where you start on your back foot and follow through at your target, something like this. Doesn't matter what type of shot you use, either the slap shot or the wrist shot, as long as it goes in the net.
And Andy Bizo from the London Knights invented a shot of his own. He one-handed it over Mark Bernard for the game-winning goal. The London Knights beat the Manchester Storm 3-2. And all the other league title contenders have been in action recently. Des Corkill brings you through Rink Roundup.
Every contest from now to the end of the season is critical. Bracknell went into the weekend in pole position, but fell behind to Cam Bristow's early strike for Ayr. That lead, though, lasted barely 3 minutes. Colin Ward tipping home the power play equaliser. And in an open first period, 3 more goals were added. Dennis Chasse's blast from the right circle giving the Bees the edge. But the Eagles, playing a weekend double-header either side of the M4, were keen to give their large travelling support value for money. Dino Boba equalised early in the second period, but Bracknell held too many aces for the Eagles' short bench. Cassim Masters tucked home his second, and Todd Goodwin's sweetly taken second short-handed strike of the season proved to be the game winner. The Bees just held on 5-4. The pressure was on the London Knights to get a win at Newcastle. The Knights, who blew a 5-goal lead at Cardiff on Thursday, were boosted by Mark Vulture's first-minute goal. But you rarely get an easy time at the Telly West, particularly with Mikko Koivunoru around. His power play tied it up. The Visitors' lead was re-established early in the second period. Rob Kenny and Rick Brabant assisting Todd Wetzel. And in a game of only 50 shots on goal combined, an error by River Kings' Eero Järvi proved to be the key play. Brabant said, "Thank you very much." London going on to a 4-2 lead. So despite the late consolation by Koivunoru, Knights recorded their third single-goal win of the year in Newcastle. If nothing else, the Sheffield Steelers have provided entertainment this year. They don't seem to worry too much about giving goals away. That's because they've got Ed Courtney. His equaliser against Cardiff is his 15th power play goal of the campaign, an ISL record. Sheffield had this game won in the first period. By that time, Matt Hoffman had scored the Steelers' go-ahead goal, and the stage had been set for a few more Courtney records. His second goal was his 30th of the season, an ISL record, and also his 62nd point. Guess what? It's an ISL record. Sheffield may not win the league, but they'll enjoy the run-in. Devils given a reminder of Kip Noble's predatory instincts. His points tally up to 34. Sheffield runaway winners. Back on home ice, Cardiff are a different proposition. Ask London. Things started well against Ayr when Ivan Machulik finished a sweet move. Now, neither team's in the title race, but this game is always intense. And it was the Eagles' greater sharpness around the net that turned the game around late in the second. Rod Tremblay equalising. And then right on the buzzer, Sean Byram scored a second. And the contest took on a completely different complexion. Ayr withstood an 18-5 shots on goal barrage in the third and won the game with a rocket by Jamie Steer. In the closing moments, we have that rarity, a penalty shot. The call is for handling the puck, otherwise known as cheating. Steve Moria took the responsibility. Trofimenkov, the glory. Goals are normally at a premium at the Ice Stadium, so when Steve Roberts gave the Panthers a 3-1 lead over Newcastle, this was already a goal fest. Some of the hockey was gorgeous. Graham Gordon made it 5-1. But remember last week when Newcastle came from 4 down to beat Bracknell? Well, they did it again. That gem was Eero Järvi's hat-trick. And some more Järvi genius created the River Kings equaliser. The goal on the plate for Mikko Koivunoru. But this is Newcastle. Having done the hard work, they blew it. Jamie Leach with a late winner for the Panthers. But with all due respect, the important ISL action took place at Manchester and Sheffield. There was the obligatory early goal at Sheffield Arena as the league-leading Bees came into town. Dan Seaman with the finish. But Bracknell was still in the game at the end of the first period. Kevin Reels scoring for the Bees. That's 24 for the season. But Sheffield blew this game apart early in the second. Matt Hoffman making it 3-1. The 4-1 goal was crucial. Jason Weaver with determination and a lovely drop pass for David Longstaff. And the Steelers scored a third goal in less than 3 minutes when the irrepressible Courtney took his season's tally to 31. 5 goals from 14 shots against Bruno Campese. Replacement Brian Gray fared little better. 14 shots, 3 goals. Hoffman's second making it 8-2. Bracknell's road form is hurting them. Only 7 points from 11 games outside Berkshire since January. And that loss to Sheffield has cost Bracknell dearly as London moved to the head of the Secunda Super League table after their huge win over Manchester. Bracknell, though, do still have that all-important game in hand, and they could soon be back on top. The Bees play 3 games this week. It's really developed into a 2-horse race. Mathematically, Manchester and Sheffield are both still in it, but they now rely on the Bees and the Knights slipping up. The bottom 4 jostling for playoff places. With only a handful of games remaining, don't forget they played 42 games, this one really is going down to the wire. And of course, Sky Sports will be staying with it all the way. Congratulations to Sheffield's Ed Courtney, who set a new Super League record for points and goals scored in a season when he netted a 2+1 against Cardiff on Saturday. Courtney stays top of the leading point scorers table with his Sheffield line mates Tida Wynn and Dale Junkin in second and third. Newcastle's Mika Koivunoru jumps up 3 places to fourth after securing 6 points this weekend. In other news, Cardiff and Great Britain will be without goaltender Stevie Lyle for the rest of the season. Lyle suffered a knee injury against London last week. A scan has revealed that the ligament damage does not require surgery, which is good news for the 20-year-old. Daniel Wood from the Cardiff Rage steps in as backup. Former Sheffield Steelers captain Rocket Ron Schuder will be the centre of attention at the House of Steel for his testimonial game next week. A host of former Sheffield stars will be turning up to join in. That's on Wednesday, the 1st of March, 7:30 face-off at the Sheffield Arena. Now then, the league title will be decided in the next 2 weeks, and every game for the contenders is crucial. Bracknell are in action 3 times this week. On Thursday, they face a difficult game against Cardiff, the first of 2 visits to Wales in the final run-in. On Friday, the Storm will try to revive their remote title hopes when they take on the Panthers, while Bracknell are back in action on Saturday when they'll be gunning for maximum points at Ayr. On Sunday, the Steelers will be looking for their first ever win at the Centrum, whilst the Manchester Storm clash with the Cardiff Devils at the Ice House. But the big one, and our main game next week, will be at Bracknell for what could be the title decider when they face the current leaders at the Beehive. See the Bracknell Bees come up against the London Knights for what is the biggest game of the season. That's the Bracknell Bees against the London Knights. Note the change next Wednesday at 3:30 on Sky Sports 3. There'll be a full house, and the team that holds their nerve will be favourites to win Super League 4. Don't you dare miss it.
And that could well be the game that decides the Super League title. Make sure you tune in. But for now, from Manchester and our main game where the London Knights beat the Manchester Storm 3-2, it's goodbye.
Should I crawl into the safe? You know I gotta hang on to my senses, for they fade away, and now you got me pushed into this corner with my back against the wall. You know I gotta break out of my conscience like an animal. Should I tell you what